Let me show you guys the homestead deck real quick. Check this out. So this is actually a little patio system. Not little. It's actually pretty decent sized patio system actually, but it's a patio system off this really cool A-frame house down here in Burlington, Kentucky. Beautiful. But it's seen its better days, right? So it's got a disintegrating stain on it and everywhere, and it's got some significant board rot. It also, the floor here also had some unevenness. Now the wood here, the pine, let me show you the condition that it's in. So you see all the cracks. It's hard to see it when you're not close up on it, but you see all the cracks, all the hairlines in this. It allows the water to get into these boards and keep expanding in them and keep contracting them. We're getting ready to change all that. And look, coming in, taking out all the bad lumber, all the bad boards, rotten and are expired, and we're replacing them. Air dried, pressure treated, ready to coat. Stainless steel fasteners, 316, so they won't corrode in the future and cause board rot. Now look, what'll happen, what'll play out here. Anybody else would have tore down this structure. So they would have came here and they would have told the homeowner, look, you got to tear down to frame and replace. It's over, right? It's done. Here, sign this contract, 30, 40, 50, right? All decks, all structures, especially those made of pine and cedar, can easily be restored, typically, and easily be resurfaced. I've yet to find one, even in the worst conditions, that crew style repair from Kong Armor and not fully restore and make viable again inside of 1 day of restoration. I've yet to find one. And we're talking about I've restored and resurfaced some of the worst structures on the planet. They can almost always typically be restored. Their construction, decks and outdoor structures, their construction is simple. And that's the cool thing about it. They're typically just squares with some joists that run through them and some boards that sit on top of them. And it's not much more than that, right? And it's very easy to come in, take the bad boards out and put new ones in. And everybody makes too big of a deal about this. If you live in Cincinnati, if you live in northern Kentucky, it is very unlikely that you need full tear down to the frame deck replacement, especially when we have coating systems like Kong Armor. Now listen, we're going to totally change the surface of this old weathered pine. Look at that, look how weathered and shot it is. You see the cliffing, the shelving, the cracks, the hairlines, all that. Watch what Kong does to this. We're going to restore it day one, air dried, ready to coat, pressure treated lumber. We're going to get in here and get everything that's bad out. And then watch, we're going to take this premium industrial grade elastomer and we're going to slam it, press it down into all these cracks, all these hairlines, and we're going to fill them in, right? Once we get them filled in, then we're going to start, well, I'm talking engulfing this deck system in really big, thick build layers. And you guys watch, how this pulls out. And you watch how Kong completely waterlocks this deck and completely rebuilds its surfaces. It's going to be an amazing transformation. But what I want you to know is, I don't care what's wrong with your deck system. I don't care if you have rotten joists. I don't care if part of your floor is uneven. I don't care if your structure's leaning. It doesn't matter. Typically, 95% of the time, I can bring in our deck rescue painters via crew, so we're talking multiple men, and completely restore your structure. Most of the time, in less than 4 hours. There's some that are extensive that'll take a day of restoration. That's 95% of decks in the Cincinnati, northern Kentucky area. So watch this. This is one that they would have torn. If anybody else would have got to these guys, it would have been tear down to the frame replacement. And just watch the value that the thick build, the ultra tough, the lifetime deck armor system and its deck rescue painters bring here to this deck owner. Watch this. I'm getting ready to save them 20 grand or more.